Hello and welcome to our live betting show where we pick out odds from top 5 leagues to give to you that you can use over the weekend. And today I'm aiming for 100 odds, so I'm going to be booking it as I'm on this show, as we always do. So the first game, first league I'm going to is the Premier League. I'm picking out 3 games from the Premier League, and I'm going to give you what I'm betting on and why. First game I'm picking is Arsenal versus Southampton. Arsenal are up against a team that they should easily beat. Southampton have been very, very poor this season, and they look like a team always ready to concede a lot of goals. I think Arsenal will win, but I don't think the odds are enough for an Arsenal win. So I'm going to go with Arsenal to win and over, like the over market. So Arsenal to win and over 2.5. The odds are 1.44. I think those are very, very tasty odds. So yeah, Arsenal to win and over 2.5. So I'm just going to book that. Next, Manchester City versus Fulham. Again, Manchester City at home with Haaland in the form that he's in. And of course, they're looking to bounce back after 2 consecutive draws. Even though they don't have Rodri for the rest of the season, I still think that they are very, very formidable, of course. I expect them to win this game against Fulham. Fulham will obviously give them some trouble, but it should be a win, and I expect 2 goals to be scored in this game. So for 1.37, I'm going for Manchester City to win and over 1.5. I think that we're going to see 2 goals in this game, and Man City will win. And the last game from the Premier League that I'm going with is actually Aston Villa versus Manchester United. Man United are going through a tough period right now, and Aston Villa have been in some very fine form recently. Even though they drew last weekend with Ipswich 2-2, they beat Bayern during midweek and they are on a high. They also won their first Champions League game 4-0 at Young Boys, if I remember correctly. So for this game, I think Ten Hag is under pressure, needs to deliver. I'm going with both teams to score or over 2.5. So I think that Aston Villa will definitely score. And if Manchester United don't bounce back to equalize, Aston Villa are going to just go on a route and probably score 2 more. So that's why I'm going for both teams to score or over 2.5. And for that, I have also 1.34, which I think are very tasty. And now I'm moving to France. Now in France, I've picked 3 games as well. Stade Rennes versus Monaco, a very, very competitive game. Rennes are a very, very troublesome side at home. Monaco, of course, are still unbeaten this season. They've beaten Barcelona. They've held on their title race with PSG. They've only dropped points once in the league, a last-minute goal against Lens, and they're neck and neck in title race with PSG. So I'm going for both teams to score or over 2.5 because I think both teams are actually going to score in this game. Games between these 2 sides are always very, very competitive. Either way, either both teams will score or over 2.5. The odds are 1.35. I think that's very, very tasty. Then we have Lyon versus Nantes. Lyon are a team that like to score. Of course, they've had games this season when it didn't really go like that, but of course we saw them go play 3-2 against Marseille. During midweek, they scored 4 goals, winning 4-1 at Rangers. I think we're going to have 2 goals in this game, at least 2 goals. So I'm going just for the over market because it's very hard to predict what Lyon team will show up, whether they will win this game or not. So it's best to avoid the straight win market. So for this one, I'm going for over 1.5 goals, and the odds are 1.25. So I'm just going to go ahead and book it as well. Yeah, so we're progressing well. Next, Stade Rennes versus Montpellier. Now, Rennes they're a very, very good side, especially at home, very attacking side. Montpellier as well, also very attacking, and I think these teams are kind of evenly matched at the moment. So I'm also going for goals here. I think we're going to see 2 goals scored in this game. So for over 1.5 goals, we have 1.22 on Betano. So yeah, I'm going for that, over 1.5 goals. Now I'm going to Germany. So in Germany, first pick is the Bayern game. Eintracht Frankfurt versus Bayern. Very, very tough game. But I think Bayern are reeling from losing at Aston Villa during the Champions League midweek games. But I expect them to come all out this time around and go at Frankfurt. I see Bayern scoring 2 goals in this game. So I'm going for over 1.5 goals for Bayern. And the odds are 1.36. I think that's very, very, very attractive, especially with Bayern's form in the league so far. Of course, last weekend they played 1-1 against Leverkusen, but they were very, very attacking and they could have scored more. Even in midweek when they didn't score, they could have scored. So the odds are 1.36 over 1.5. So I've booked that. Next, I'm going for Werder Bremen versus Freiburg. I think we have two largely evenly mad teams who like to score. So because, they typically score goals, I'm going for both teams to score over 2.5 for odds of 1.38. I think that is attractive, like very, very irresistible for me. And last, from Germany, I'm going for Union Berlin versus Dortmund. Now, Dortmund during midweek were crazy with the goals, and Dortmund games this season have been producing goals. They had a 5-1 defeat against Stuttgart not long ago, and they're just really, really on fire. Their games just produce goals a lot. So I'm going for both teams to score again here or over 2.5 because I think Union Berlin have it in them to score in this game. Dortmund's defense isn't so strong, so I'm going for that at 1.44 odds. I think again very, very tasty odds. Now we move over to Spain. Now in Spain, I've picked Real Madrid versus Villarreal. It's going to be a blockbuster. I think that Villarreal are very attacking, and of course they found their players are in form. Ayose is in form. Nicolas Pepe is in form. Tiano Barry looks very good as well, even though he has not scored so much. He scored, I think, just 2 goals, but he's ever a threat. And for Real Madrid, they're still trying to figure themselves out, but they will be looking to bounce back from their midweek defeat to Lille. I think we're going to have a very attacking game, which will produce corners. I think it's very hard to call this game from a scoring perspective or from a straight to win perspective. So I'm going for corners. I think we're going to see a lot of corners in this game, especially if Villarreal spring a goal from nowhere early on. So I'm going for over 8.5 corners at 1.30. I think that is very attractive for me. So I've booked that on Betano. Next, I have Alaves at home against Barcelona. Now, if you thought Barcelona could just walk up anywhere and win, of course, last weekend showed us that, it doesn't just happen like that. They lost out to Osasuna. So, of course, we're very wary this time around. But actually, Barcelona to win either half is very attractive. 1.30 on Betano. That is very attractive. And I think that as good as Alaves have been this season, I think Barcelona should beat them, especially because they're not going to rotate. But just to be on the safer side, go for win either half for Barcelona, and that's 1.30 on Betano. So I'm just going to go ahead and book that as well. Next, I'm going for Las Palmas versus Celta Vigo. Now, these two teams have been producing goals aplenty. Celta Vigo, the only game that Celta Vigo didn't score in so far this season, or haven't scored in, was against Atletico Madrid, a game they lost in the last minute, or in the final, in 90th minute really. That ended 1-0. But all the other games, I've seen both teams score. And apart from their last 2 games, the remaining games had over 2.5 goals scored. Their last game it was 1-1. As for Las Palmas, all their games have had over 1.5 goals, and almost all their games I've seen both teams scoring. So I'm going for both teams to score or over 2.5 because it makes sense. Odds are 1.42. Yeah, I think that's just a no-brainer for me. So finally, I'm going to Serie A, Italy. Inter Milan versus Torino is my first pick. Inter should be too much for Torino. Torino have actually been good this season, but yeah, I think Inter at home with Lautaro well rested after just coming off the bench in midweek. I think that Inter look good for this. So a win for Inter and over 1.5. You won't believe the odds. 1.52 odds. That is a no-brainer. Like, just go for it. Then also Fiorentina versus AC Milan. Yeah, I think we're going to have... Of course, Milan disappointed us in midweek by not scoring against Leverkusen. That was a game that everybody went for 2.5 or, both teams to score. But I'm going to go for that again this time. I think that this is going to be a very open game. Fiorentina have Moiskin, who is in good form so far. And of course, Milan and Milan. and they can spring the unexpected, but they are also a team that will go at it and try to get goals. So both teams will score over 2.5, odds of 1.40. That seems very tasty to me. And the final one from Italy and the final one from the sleep is Atalanta versus Genoa. That's the one I'm going for. Atalanta have Ademola Lookman. They're scoring for fun. And I think that this is another game where we're going to see goals. I'm going for at least 2 goals being scored in this game. Over 1.5 at 1.27. Let me book that as well and see what I have here. So, fantastic. Just on the dot, 100 odds, 15-fold, 100 odds on Betano. Yeah, you can absolutely go for this. So on your screen, you're going to see the code, the booking code for this, and you can play it. Even if you play it to just 100 naira, you could get up to 10,000 naira, from your game. So yeah, that is it. 100 odds from the top 5 leagues from us. Thank you so much for joining, and remember, you can edit this, you can do some research and change a few things if you want, but this is just to guide you and help your betting. We're not telling you that it's going to definitely enter, but this is like reasonable, and you can edit it, reduce it. You can go with just 50 odds as you like. But anyway, thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful day ahead and have a wonderful weekend as well. Ciao.